What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again. It's been a little while since I've done a knife discussion video, and I had a good topic pop into my head today. Today we're going to be talking about knife collecting phases. Now, obviously, knife collectors usually aren't just collectors where they just throw them in a case, they never use them, they never carry them. That's definitely not how I am. Obviously, I have tons of EDC blades I regularly use. My fixed blades go with me out camping and hiking and all that sort of stuff, and then neck knives have their place as well. But I've definitely gone through phases, and I had a very narrow scope of knives I was currently looking at, and I'm kind of getting out of that, but it's hard once you find something that you like. And I think this goes for any sort of collecting of just about any item. You find something that you like at that particular time, it seems to fit a need for you, and then you want to have more things like that. So when I was first getting into knives, I had almost exclusively Kershaws. I still love Kershaw. This knockout is by far one of my favorite knives that has just stuff all over it all the time. I can't keep it clean because it gets that much use. But I was obsessed with Speed Safe. Now I know a lot of you guys are not into assisted knives. I still kind of like them. I think they have their place. I don't think they're perfect, but it's nice for an everyday kind of knife where you can just pull it out of your pocket and know that if you hit that flipper tab or that thumb stud, the knife is going to deploy. So when I was very first getting into knives, all I wanted was Kershaw Speed Safe. If it was a manual Kershaw or a Benchmade or anything, I wouldn't even give it a glance. And then my scope kind of broadened. I was like, okay, what else does Kershaw offer other than Speed Safe? Maybe I'm just collecting too similar of knives. And then I discovered the Kershaw Emerson collaboration knives with the wave feature. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I watched all these videos saying it's the fastest way to deploy a folding knife, and it probably is from the pocket for sure. I mean, it's a blast to use them. These are combat-oriented knives. Not that I use them for that, but they really are helpful. I really like the wave feature. So after that phase kind of died, I'm like, okay, I'm going to look into other brands. And the first one I stumbled upon was, of course, Spyderco. I mean, it seems like the YouTube community and the knife community in general love Spyderco, and I think for good reason. I mean, this is one of my favorite knives of all time, the Manix 2. I had a Tenacious, good blade for sure. I have a Persistence somewhere around here. I had a Yojimbo 2. I really did go through my Spyderco phase, and I loved them. And in fact, I might be getting back into that. So after that phase kind of ended, and where I'm going with this video, guys, I just kind of sat down and doing a little bit of a knife topic ramble here, is obviously this is a knife discussion video, and I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys go through these same kind of phases where you're only focused on what's coming out in a certain type of knife or a certain blade length, or you're obsessed with the blade steel, or you only want carbon fiber right now? If it doesn't have carbon fiber, you're not interested at that time. I want to hear from you guys. What phase are you currently in, and do you go through the phases? So after my Spyderco phase, I kind of branched out a little. I was like, I'm going to try some different brands, and I definitely got some SOG knives, some Boker knives. I tried Gerber again. That was a mistake. Oh man, Gerber is terrible. And that the list kind of went on and on. I had an Ontario Rat. I was just kind of broadening my spectrum of brands that I owned. And after that, I really got into the high-end knives for just a little while. Here's just two of mine. I only have about 3, maybe 4. ZTO 456 and the Viper Odino. These are around 200 up. And I was loving the titanium and the edge retention and the corrosion resistance on the steels you were getting. I thought the designs were very cool. And I carry this knife today, the 0456. You can see how dirty it is. I love this knife getting dirty. I don't know what it is about it, but as I almost drop it there, you think I'd know how to handle knives by now. But this thing is just a work of art. But I love when it gets dirty. It's that perfect balance between a workhorse and a knife that you want to keep pretty. So I don't know, I love throwing that one in my pocket. So those were kind of my folder stages, and I was like, I'm really happy with where my collection of folding knives is at the moment. This was in the past, and I was like, I really don't have that many fixed blades. So I got into neck knives. I think everybody gets into neck knives at some point. A lot of people just think they're dumb. And I can see that. You know, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Here's a Schrade I recently got. I mean, my Ezzy Azula 2 will always be one of my favorite blades. And I thought these were really convenient. I mean, if you throw it around your neck, most of the time you forget it's there. You always got a tool on you. You know, if you're chilling at home in your sweats or basketball shorts or whatever, and you don't want to worry about that folder in your pocket falling out or weighing down your shorts or anything, you got this around your neck. I mean, throw it under your t-shirt and no one knows it's there, and you still have a cutting tool. So I don't know if it was actually the utility or the novelty of neck knives, but I really had a neck knife phase. So moving on from that, I think one of my most recent phases is the fixed blade. I realized when I was going hiking, when I was going camping, I had some tools I liked using, some folding knives I liked using, but I like these companion style blades. These 5-inch blades, where they're not going to be monster choppers, they're not going to be, swords hanging from your backpack or your belt, and they're not going to be too small where you're wanting more. I think knives like this Tops Cut 4.0 are just about as versatile as it gets. So I really love those knives at the moment. And I think the phase I'm getting into now is definitely functionality. I'm kind of regretting never buying a Spyderco Delica or an Endura or a Benchmade Griptilian, or I've never had a PM2. I mean, I've definitely messed with a lot of them. My brother has one. You know, I have a video up of a guest PM2. But those knives are so popular, I kind of avoided them. Not that I didn't think I was going to like them, just because there was so much content here on YouTube, so much coverage of that knife that I didn't know if I could add anything to it, and I wanted to be a little bit different. I wanted to go strictly for things that I liked rather than what some YouTuber said is the best UDC knife of all time, which in most cases it's one of those knives I listed. But I think I want to revisit those. You know, maybe it'll make me appreciate some of my designs more, and maybe those knives will be so awesome that I lose a lot of my current collection because they replaced it. Who knows? So thanks for watching, guys. As always, I just want to tell you about some of the knife collecting phases I've been through, and I definitely want to hear from you down in the comments. And yeah, that's it, guys. And remember, have fun with your knives.